What's good, y'all? I'm Jessamine Stanley. I'm a yoga teacher, an author, and an entrepreneur.
And I'm Ash. I also own a media production company, and I work with Jessamine on a bunch of the projects.
My pronouns are she, her.
Also mine, she, her.
Hell yeah. And we are getting ready to move into a camper and see America. We decided to not pick up a lease in our hometown, my adopted hometown, your legit hometown of Durham, North Carolina, and just go on the road and live on the road.
We're gonna try to visit all 48 states that we can access via car and have a blast and learn about living life on the road.
Are we gonna have a blast? I feel like we're gonna learn a lot.
In addition to other things, a blast will be had.
Maybe kill each other.
What's good, y'all? I'm Jessamine Stanley.
And I'm Ash Phoenix.
In summer 2021, we sold our stuff and started living full-time in our Coleman Rubicon trailer.
We're traveling across the U.S. to get to know ourselves, each other, and the beautiful, complicated, messy country that bore us.
Hit that subscribe and like button to join us as we find out what it really means to find our way home.
We're going from 2,000 square feet to 50-ish square feet. And we will not have anywhere to turn but to each other.
And ourselves. Always. So there's that.
We didn't just decide to live on the road. It wasn't like, maybe we'll just decide to. No, it was like shit kind of fell apart. Like our lives got crazy.
Well, I mean, our town is getting gentrified. Prices of rent are skyrocketing. We have lived in a place that, honestly, the landlords could charge a lot more than they do, and they are basically now. And so we can't afford it. Like anybody, when the going gets tough, the tough get creative, and we're just getting really creative with housing.
I hate needing to focus on the, being like, yeah, this is just such a great thing. Yeah. I'm like, no, bitch, we're making a really big change in our lives. We're just like going with the wind, doing something new, and taking an opportunity to see the country. I feel like, if anything, one of the biggest lessons from coronavirus was really enjoy every single day. Like every day, because you do not know if it's going to be your last.
I think too, like the millennial mantra of like experiences over things. And I think we're really diving huge into minimalism and paring down and consuming consciously, and all of those things are you about to. We're being thrust into it whether we like it or not. And I think it's ultimately good for the soul. Like there's no reason not to cleanse, there's no reason not to pare down, there's no reason not to examine your consumption. I love to just jump in the deep end. I like that you like to jump with me.
Oh, yeah. Well, we travel already for work, and there's a couple things that come from that. Like, one, when you travel a lot, it's not really exciting to go new places. Like, you go to new cities, and you literally don't see anything in the city. Like, I've been so many places and have not seen anything but the hotel room, the Uber Eats delivery person, like, nothing else. And I feel like being able to, like, actually make home in these places that are not our home yet will be nice. Having no expectations or having like almost like low expectations feels really important, because it already has gotten very real. I think that any kind of, oh my God, fantasy, but living in an RV, I feel like that's kind of gone. If it was ever there.
Yeah, no, I was just like looking up all the different things we might need if we get stuck in the mud, and like, you know what I mean? Just like, it's gonna be real. But I love a challenge. I feel like we're uniquely equipped to collaborate on working through challenges, just from the rhythms we've already learned and earned through traveling together and living together and working together. I feel like we know each other really well and on so many layers and levels that I wouldn't want to do this with absolutely anyone else but you.
Oh yeah, no, me too. You're really like the perfect person to do it with, and like you're down for an adventure, and you will just like go with it.
Ironically, even though we'll be moving a lot, like slowing down and being much more intentional about the time that we do have. For instance, all of our work requires Wi-Fi. We'll have to know where we're gonna be, what the reviews are on that place for Wi-Fi, where our backup
and for
plan.
Being black and gay and
I'm not
out here, man. I'm telling you, I don't know.
I'm not even there yet.
I think eventually we should try to go to Hawaii and Alaska, but we're starting with 48 states, and eventually also would like to go to Canada and to Mexico. But we decided to do this route that allows you to go to all 48 states and see a landmark in each one. And I don't know if we will actually be able to stick with the route. Like, it would be ideal to be able to stick with it to some degree, but I think it's likely that we will end up needing to divert from our plans happens for whatever reason. But our general plan is to start with Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. That is the closest landmark to us. And Kitty Hawk is where the Wright brothers flew the first airplane. I've never been there before. You've never been there before.
So many times I've been there.
Aw.
Absolutely.
I love that.
No, yeah.
So much.
Me too.
Okay, so we're gonna start at Kitty Hawk, and then we're gonna go up to Virginia Beach, because I think that's the next closest. And then we're just gonna keep trucking up north. But we wanna try to see as much of New England as possible before it starts to get cold.
But also very specifically during the fall when it's so unbelievably beautiful. Painters paint because of what it looks like there in this time, you know.
So go up north, and then when it starts to get cold, we'll come back down south and then head across the bottom of the country.
The year that we're planning on doing this, and so who knows? I mean, it's true, we might spend 3 days someplace, 4 days the next place, and then a month in the following place. So that kind of unpredictability I feel excited about. I think that we would stay places longer that feel good and work for us. It feels amazing to have that option, because like some people live in places that do not work for them their whole lives. Y'all, everybody should take to the road if you want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think us just being regular ass people and doing this hopefully is like, if you're a regular ass person, you want to do this, you probably should.
I'm not yet endorsing it. I don't know. In a month or two, I could be like, this bitch is crazy. I'm not going to be living in a camper anymore. I will be living in a house. Literally, who does this? So TBD on the perspective. First thing is find out what indigenous land we are standing on and
who those people were, what stories we have access to, like understanding better about the truth about the history of this place. That I know that us as Southerners, we weren't taught in school.
Really weren't taught that at all.
People, I wasn't passed down that information. Even from people who are indigenous, I think there's a lot of stories that got stolen even from their communities.
Number 2 is find and get in a natural body of water in each state. So that could vary. Rivers, lakes, ponds,
waterfalls,
creeks, waterfalls,
babbling brooks,
hot springs. Definitely a babbling brook.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like number 3 is do a hike in each state. Could be a short hike, could be a long hike. I think that there's a lot of like self-discovery that happens when hiking. Number 4, we want to see a sunrise and a sunset in each state. Because who even knows what that'll look like in some places?
Some places. I know that I cannot wait to go back to Montana with you because the beauty of the sky is breathtaking.
It's so beautiful. It's like, it's on another level. I don't know if it's a secret.
I didn't know.
Number 5, and this one feels pretty important to me.
Let's hear it.
We gotta go to McDonald's in each state. We need to know, is McDonald's the same in every state? Does an Egg McMuffin taste the same in Idaho as it does in Tennessee? Does it taste the same here? In Vermont, they might have Bernie Sanders on the packaging and
a lot of
Arnold
vegetarian options.
It's like, I didn't know you had the veggie burgers. Number 6, we want to try to get the welcome signs in each state. And this is something...
Photographs of us with the welcome signs.
I'm very concerned about this one because a huge part of my excitement about doing this trip is that when I was 8, my family did a similar trip. We drove from Greensboro up to Chicago, Illinois, and then drove across the top of the country and got to Seattle and stayed in Seattle for a couple weeks and then drove back down through California and then around the bottom of the country to come back to North Carolina. So during this trip, I got so tired of being in photos. My father wanted to take a photo at every welcome sign and I was like, I hate you, I hate this. And especially at the end of the trip, I remember being like morally opposed to being in the welcome sign photos. So I guess I'm mostly saying that I think I will become a hater at some point and be like, I'm not trying to be in pictures anymore.
I thought you were going to say, but I want to redo so that I can do it again.
I thought that was a pretty sound decision on my part back then. Number 6, I really want to have grits in every state or see if they even have grits. You don't want to have grits?
I'm terrified of what they're going to do to the grits. What, are they going to put sugar in them?
Yes. Somebody's going to put sugar in them. Somebody's gonna get them out of a like a quick grits packet. Somebody is gonna be like, what are grits? Like, I would just love to have that experience. But then also, I would like to eat whatever the food is in that state that like you cannot leave the state without having. And so drop it in the comments wherever you're from. What is the thing that you cannot miss? The food that is so iconic of whatever state you're from. Drop it. Or if you like visited a state, maybe you're from another country, but like you've been to the United States and you're like, no bitch, you need to have this food in this state. Like, we want to have the iconic food of each place.
I cannot. That's one of my. I'm so excited.
I'm very excited about that part of it.
So about the RV itself, we got it new, and we got it knowing that we were gonna make certainly some cosmetic changes and maybe a few appliance upgrades, because when you buy an RV like this, they're really made for people to live in on the weekends or for a week when they're traveling, but not full time, and not full time to grown adults who are also working in and using it as a studio sometimes. So
literally,
there will be many uses for such a small space, so the space has to be pretty dynamic. And what's in there now is a queen size bed, 2 benches and a table that they call a dinette in an RV. There's a sink, 2-burner propane stove, and a microwave. We will eventually upgrade that to a 3-burner range and oven. We use a microwave now. I don't prefer a microwave, and I don't want to live in the same room as a microwave. So what's next is we have 2 bunk beds that we're trying to get creative with how to use that space potentially for an office. And then we have a small bathroom that includes a little tub. The plan is to not really use the shower on the RV. We've learned from other van lifers that as little moisture as you can bring into such a small space as possible is really ideal. We have this beautiful awning. The outdoors is gonna become our living room in general. We'll have a cook stove out there. Everything like have the ability to like use the expansive space and not really use our tiny space for all of the different things, especially things that leave residue and things that leave moisture and stuff like that. So we're just gonna get so creative with this really tiny space, and I'm excited about it.
The locks on this camper are like the locks that are on your diary. Legit, like they are so, I feel like I want to write a letter to Coleman. What the hell is this?
They don't care.
I also, you know they don't, whatever. We're definitely going to do separate videos on what the camper looks like before we make any renovations, and then what it looks like during the renovation process, and then what it looks like after. I'm really excited about that.
We'll document all of that. We'll make sure that we show what the composting toilet exchange process is. It's going to be nuanced and interesting, and I will try not to cuss.
Yeah, so check back here. We should be posting regularly, and you can just follow along with our journey.
By check back here, I think she means definitely subscribe.
Oh, I definitely mean subscribe.
Hit that alert button so you know when we come out with a new video.
Hell yeah. And also like this video and leave us a comment, like with your favorite foods in the whatever state you're from or you enjoy or whatever. All advice is welcome. Okay, cool. Should we get the fuck out of here? What do you think?
Yeah.
We are going to make a few cosmetic renovations before we hit the road on our journey.